Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, precious metals, yields, dollar yields, precious metals, commodities, and ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give you my financial opinions. And if you need any help, check out finding-value.com. We do have a question and answer session coming up on Saturday at 7 a.m. to answer any of your questions. So let's dive in. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets. So, again, we've got good upside momentum in the DXY, and yields continue to be strong. Bonds are selling off hard, is really what's driving all of this. And people are, I guess, converting into dollars. So, higher yields, higher DXY, and we are seeing that continued strength in the dollar there. There we are in the long term. DXY, we got that white resistance support level. We went up against it, and we're bouncing off of it, coming to the upside. The 2-year yield falling a little bit, but we're still above support. You can draw another trend line through there. Yeah, let's do a legit trend line there. So we kind of broke to the upside there for the 2-year yield. It's hanging out there at the moment, but it's been strong for 2-year yields. I mean, it's been very strong since May 23rd. Consolidated and broke that to the upside. The 10-year, that's in full stride right now. It's pretty strong. Momentum definitely to the upside for the 10-year. If we back out, give you a little bit bigger picture view of this thing. Look at that thing go, guys. Run, Forrest, run. Then we got the TYX, the 30-year, and that's another run, Forrest, run. Good, strong, short-term momentum to the upside for yields. The TYX TNX ratio is exactly the same today, so it's just sideways for the most part there. Bond prices, obviously when yields go up, bond prices go down. Looking kind of crappy for bond prices. Momentum definitely to the downside, just like yields, momentums are to the upside. And I don't see any turnaround point yet. Not much support. There's a little bit of support down here where we're at, but if that doesn't hold, look out below if that doesn't hold. Bond prices could go down much further. Let's take a look. Let me throw something across here. We've got support through here, and that's where we're at, is right at that support level. But if we start to break to the downside, again, look out below. Gold down a little bit today. It's actually holding together quite well given where yields are and the dollar going up a little bit. But it's still in this kind of selling pressure trend. I mean, it's just been relentlessly being sold off, almost as if it's being controlled. I'm wondering if they are purposefully selling bonds, raising interest rates at the rate they are to try to hold this all together. They probably don't want commodities breaking out to the upside, and the only thing they can do is launch yields to the upside. But it won't be like that forever. Silver looking quite strong today. It was very strong towards the beginning of the day. If we look towards the daily, you can see we really rocketed up higher here. And then we did a little reversal here, and the momentum's kind of lost throughout the day. That's what that wick at the top of the candlestick is signaling. We hit a little bit of resistance up there. But nonetheless, we ended up, it is a bullish engulfing day. That's generally a reversal candlestick. So we'll see if we can reverse here. We do have strong yields. We do have strong dollar. And we understand that precious metals don't like that. That's running into a headwind. Platinum up a little bit too, another bullish engulfing. We did have a lot of buying pressure in the morning. There it is, boom. And we came back throughout the day. So momentum kind of lost throughout the day, but still a decent day where we could try to head higher here. XAU to gold ratio, no love for the gold and silver mining companies. They're down, and they're down a little bit more than the metal itself. We could break to the downside here with this ratio, and we'll see if we can break this 0.06 level. And we could go further to the downside with this ratio, meaning that gold and silver mining companies could underperform the metal itself. CRV index holding together here, looking like it's just moving sideways, up 0.34%. We've broken this to the upside. We'll get a return move, which we did. And will this start to turn higher? We're going to have to wait and see. There could still be a further pullback. It's still possible. I'm not calling for it. I'm not trying to make market predictions. We've broken to the upside. The path of least resistance is higher. It doesn't mean it will do it immediately. CRB to S&P 500, extending those legs to the upside today, Thursday. Looking good to continue higher for an outperformance of commodities in relationship to the S&P 500. Is this the beginning of wave 3? I'd like to think so. But again, I've been humbled many times in the short term. But all I'll say is it looks good to go higher, this ratio. The GDX down quite a bit this week. This is it on the daily. Still looks like we've got momentum to the downside. Same with GDXJ, same with SILJ, momentum downside. One thing that is weird, we coiled up here, put a bullish engulfing, and then we just sold off the past 4 days. That is a weird trait to see. Crude oil up about 1%. So we trying to turn this train around. We've had a good momentum selling pressure to the downside. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, I'm not trying to predict the turn here. It's not a reversal candlestick. Let's see what happens and how it trades tomorrow. Nat gas up 1.12%. It's just moving sideways. It could easily continue lower if it decides to go lower. I am hopeful of that because I'd love to buy more natural gas companies. I would love for that to happen. XOP, yeah, you know me, up 1.4%. We're still underneath this resistance line. Everything still looks intact for a larger, bigger picture move to the upside. So I do like it, where it's at. Doesn't mean that this can't fall or anything, but I do think we'll go sideways underneath that resistance line for a little bit before breaking on up. OIH also getting a little bit more selling pressure. Does look like we could try to head lower in the short term here in OIH, but we're right above that resistance support level. So I don't know how much further we have to go lower. We could come right into that support level right underneath us, which is right here. We come right back to this 330-ish level and turn back around. So we'll see what happens in trading there. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust right underneath that resistance line. This is a bloody nose. We'll see if it continues higher. Right underneath resistance. URA down a little bit. It still looks good though. We're above this breakout. And we're just waiting for the launch sequence to go up. URNM slightly lower, but still looks good. Above the support level. Everything looks okay. And URNJ still above support level. Still looks good. Actually, URNJ doesn't look too bad right here. TAN still getting the selling pressure. This is subject to lots of inflationary pressures in solar and stuff. And we'll see if we can come back to the $50 level. That's where the big long-term support level is for TAN. COPX up a little bit, still within this channel, moving sideways. And again, we'll look at copper and see where copper's going because that's really what's driving this is the commodities itself. So we'll look at that. Lithium down a little bit. We're back within the pattern. Looks like we've got some more downside on the weekly candlestick that could potentially occur in lithium. Rare earth metals also selling off. And you can see a little bit more selling pressure here the past week. And we could come back to this lower end at about 66, 67 bucks. The S&P 500 does not like those yields and dollar strengthening. Still looks bad. That momentum still looks like we're heading to the downside for the S&P. NASDAQ, same thing. Momentum heading to the downside. Looks like we could still sell off even further. There's the selling pressure on the short-term 5-minute chart. Down, 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 down. Momentum to the downside. Emerging markets trying to hold itself steady, 0.23% higher. Just moving sideways. Maybe we get a little bit of selling pressure, more selling pressure to the downside with stronger yields and dollar. That's expected. XHB getting hit pretty hard here. Like I said yesterday, stronger yields, stronger dollar, and it could potentially hit the home builders, especially if we saw the S&P 500 fall, and it did. S&P 500 fell. This is where it started, right here. That's that bearish engulfing. It struggled to go higher. It was starting to roll over, and then we spilled to the downside. Housing starts did not look that bad. They're 1.4 something million. So housing starts are still looking good, but home builders are falling a little bit here. Moo also against that support level, down a little bit today, but we're up against the support level here. We'll see if that holds. We've got copper up 1%. It doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look fantastic either. What we did on the daily is we really launched higher, and then we pulled on back. Actually, this doesn't look bad at all. This pullback, if you kind of look, we can throw a falling wedge and a break to the upside. So copper doesn't look that bad. We could go higher here in the short term to the upside, and that's a bullish engulfing pattern on the daily here. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a bounce here to the upside for copper. Iron ore heading higher, momentum's to the upside, doesn't look too bad. Coming up against some resistance here. But that looks good. Hopefully we can break out of here to the upside of this falling wedge. We've got nickel down. This does look like we could break down a little bit here to the downside for nickel. And it looks like we've got some momentum behind it. So further pullback in nickel is what I think is going to happen. Aluminum up a little bit today. Looked like it was trying to run. You can see on the daily, we ran up in the middle of the day and then came back. So momentum has been lost, and we'll see where it goes from here. Baltic Dry Index looking fantastic. Nice big up day there. Looks like we could go higher in the Baltic Dry Index. Falling wedge breakout, ready to move higher. Newcastle Coal just consolidating where it's at. I think that looks fantastic for entry points. That looks really good right where it's at. Bitcoin and Ethereum selling off. This does not look very good. We are getting the rollover and the selling pressure, and that looks like it could continue lower for both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Very strong selling pressure in this market. You can see it kind of getting lost here and accelerating to the downside. So that looks like we could definitely go lower for both of those. So that's what we've got for today, guys. That's what I'm seeing in the markets. So overall, good selling pressure. Energy was up. Ethereum and the overall markets definitely look like they want to pull back here. And overall, guys, I'm not really doing much of anything, just kind of waiting, seeing where the market's going to go. Surprising how strong precious metals have sold up. So that is also surprising. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website, and we'll see you guys Saturday at 7 a.m. for the question and answer session. All right, guys, catch you later.